we also have tonight Katelyn Curran. Am I saying it right? Katelyn Curran from FIAT, which means Faith Initiative to Abolish Trafficking. I like that name, and I like it too because fiat also means yes. You know, it's when in the Bible when Mary said yes to the angel and the mission that God, they call it her fiat, her yes, let this be to me. And so I love that name. I love that name.
Yeah, actually, when I was praying about what to call it, I wanted it to be more than just an acronym. And like he said, it means let it be done. It means a rule given by a higher authority. Actually, the first use of it is when God says, let there be light, he's used the word fiat. And so when actually in courtrooms all over the nation, they use fiat justice, let there be justice, let there be light, and that's who we are. My name is Katelyn, like he mentioned. I am not an organizer, paid full-time staff. I'm a church leader. In fact, for over 12 years, I worked with the girls at my church, and when I realized that the average entry age is 12 years old, I knew I needed to get involved. It was one fact that caused me to act, but I believe that to really mobilize people, we need to not have a monologue, but a dialogue. And so I have a question for you. Have you guys ever heard something that just broke your heart, that you felt like you couldn't even move, even when you wanted to get involved? Have you guys ever heard stats about human trafficking and you said, you know what, I want to get involved, but I don't know how? I don't know how. I see this and I see me and I don't know how to link it together. That's what fiat is for. We don't represent a specific organization, we represent a community of leaders coming together. So what we do, our goal is to mobilize faith communities and individuals to have ministries, plant ministries and churches, and to help facilitate that. We kind of have three sections to who we are. The first is community. It's been said several times. One of the biggest misconceptions is that trafficking is just in Tanzania, it's just in Thailand, it's just in the Philippines, it's just over there. But the reality of it is LA has one of the highest rates of human trafficking in the entire country. And that if you look at the United States, that there are over 300,000 kids who are at risk. Let me put that into language we can understand. Have you guys ever seen the Staples Center? That means 15 Staples Centers packed full of kids would not be able to hold how many kids who are at risk in the United States. So the first thing is awareness. But simply having your heart broken does nothing. I always say this, I am not here to break your heart. I'm here to break your silence. If we tell you a fact, but we don't tell you how to act, what use is it, right? Yeah. What use is it to be aware and to then do nothing? And so the second part is collaboration. I mentioned before, we need to stop monologuing, but dialoguing. So what we did, we came from Care 18. We said, you know what? There's people dealing with prevention. There's people dealing with aftercare. There's people dealing in law enforcement. And they're all in their separate channels. What happens if they start communicating with each other? And that was Care 18. And from Care 18, they said, now we know all the needs. How do we get people to do them? And that's fiat. And so what we do, tomorrow is our event, so I actually really honor you for allowing me even to promote it. We're on the same team, so what we're going to have is we're going to have the FBI there, we're going to have LA Sheriff's Department, you're going to hear from the person who co-founded the LA Human Trafficking Task Force, but you're also going to hear from local church leaders who've been involved, you're going to hear from local NGOs, and they're not just asking, what is human trafficking? It's how can we get involved? And that's tomorrow. It's free. I would say pre-register, but just show up, right? And then from there we walk around. We're all about taking that one step. And so our last part is community. Our second is collaboration. And our third is commitment. Realize I have a full-time job. If I'm not at my job, I'm at my church, right? I know what it's like to have a busy schedule. But the reality of it is each one of us can do one thing. And if each one of us does one thing, we can all of a sudden do a big thing, for lack of a better way of saying it, right? So I just really encourage you guys, if that's you, if you're saying, hey, I'm tired of having my heart broken and not knowing what to do, that's what fiat is here for. And if you have any questions, if you're an organization who wants a platform, who's like, hey, we don't have the resources to let people know, we don't have a marketing budget. That's my job, by the way, I'm marketing. Come see us, because we exist to help and serve you too. That's who we are. So thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for being here. Actually, in fact, turn to the person to your right and say, I'm glad you've come.
Oh, wait,
thank
to the
you.
left. Oh,
I'm glad you guys are adjusting my grammar. And then turn to the other person and said, are you ready?
Are you ready?
Oh no, say it like you mean it. Say, are you To do something. All right, thank you.
Yep.